Hi, I'm Dr. Bertice Berry, and I want to tell you a story. Many years ago, I was in graduate school in Kent, Ohio. I was in my 20s. I was getting my doctoral degree, and I wore my hair in dreadlocks. Now, this was long before anybody was on television wearing dreadlocks. In fact, when years later, when I was on TV, I was the first person on television with dreadlocks. And they were long and reddish brown and gold in some places, and they came all the way down. They were just really long and beautiful. But it was difficult being that different. Um, White people were like, "What is that?" And black people were like, "What is that?" And it was really different. And in this town of Kent, Ohio, nobody else wore dreadlocks, and they thought I was odd. And I had to wait until there was like reggae bands in town to see somebody with hair like mine. And one day I was in the grocery store, and I'm doing my thing, and I loved my hair. It was the way it grew. It was beautiful. It was wonderful, and I actually had to cut it off not too long ago, maybe 8, 9 years ago now, when I had a head injury. I was in the grocery store this day back in my 20s, and this little girl looked at me. We were standing over in produce, and she looks at me. She looks at her mother, and she does exactly what kids do. They say out loud what they see. And she said, "Look, Mommy, that lady has funny hair." And the mother was like, fancy. Yes, she has fancy hair. You said fancy. Oh, yeah, it is fancy. And in that moment, I knew that I could go along with this and walk out and feel some kind of something, or I could use the power of that moment to not only educate, but to stand in my own glory. And I chose the latter. I said, "She didn't say fancy. She said funny. It's funny because it's different, huh?" The little girl was like, "Yeah." And I said, "It's called dreadlocks. Would you like to touch my hair?" I said, "Let me see your hands. Are they clean? Would you like to touch my hair?" And the mother was like, "No, that's okay." And so the little girl, of course, took the cue from the mother. She's like, "No." And within seconds, I grabbed her mother's hand and I said, "That's okay. Your mommy will touch it." And her mother touched it and was like, "Oh my God, it's so soft. It's so beautiful. It's like cotton." I was like, "Baby, it's like Sea Island cotton. This is some gorgeous hair." And the mother was like, "It's so amazing." And then the little girl was like, "Can I touch it?" Now, even this little girl knew to ask. Y'all walk up on people just trying to touch their hair. That's not what you're supposed to do. She said, "Can I touch it?" And I said, "Yes." Now, you're not always going to get a yes when you ask to touch someone's hair. And if you don't know them well, you shouldn't be asking to touch their hair at all. I said, "Yes." She touched it. "I love your hair." She looked at her mother and said, "I want my hair like yours." And I said, "Oh, honey, your hair's different from mine. You could have hair like mine, but it would take a lot longer to lock up. Mine grows this way. If I just wash it and groom it and take care of it like this, it will just do this. Mine greets the sun and yours greets the earth. They're different and they're pretty." And then I sang her a little song. Like, "It's different and it's pretty. It's different and it's pretty. It's different and it's pretty." And she said, "Mommy, I love her." And the mother looked at me and she was crying and she said, "Thank you so much. I just didn't know what to say." We are walking through a whole lot of I don't know what to say. Yeah, there is some hatred. Oh, I've been called everything you can imagine, with dreadlocks and without. I've had some names that just don't make sense. I've been told to go back to Africa as if my ancestors didn't build this thing. But the power that I walk in of knowing myself, just from that time, made me determine that I could use this power for good or let somebody take my power because of their stupidity. You know which one I chose, but I'm asking us all to choose it. There's a lot of hatred, but not nearly as much hatred as there is just ignorance. And because we don't know and we are afraid, we figure we need to join forces with those who look like us so that we can be okay. We're not okay. Our fear of not knowing and not knowing what to do. I mean, you wouldn't walk up on anybody and just touch their hair. And if you don't have a relationship with someone that you get close enough to say one day, hey, can I touch it? And they say, hey, can I touch yours? And if they say, no, I really don't like anybody's hands in my hair, I don't know where your hand's been, take that as true. It's okay. We're learning all kinds of things about one another. And if you haven't been close enough to people who are different from you, it's never too late. Start with a book. And don't assume that one book is all books. Don't assume the one black person you know is all black people you know. Don't assume the one Croatian you know is all Croatians you know. Don't assume the one Japanese woman is all the Japanese people. Nobody speaks for everybody. And nobody has a key to all knowing. That's why life is so beautiful. It's different and it's pretty. I love you.